I feel like there's gonna be nobody on because it's like 1:30 on a Sunday night. Who's on at 1:30 on a Sunday night? I don't know. um, so I just want to talk about I just had some thoughts and thinking a lot lately about my high school experience because it wasn't the best. I don't know. So here are just some of my late night thoughts. I had the worst high school experience ever. Like I'm one of those people who hated high school and those people who are like high school is the best time of your life. High school was the worst time of my life. So, but okay, even though I hated high school, I kind of hated all of my school experience. But even though I hated it, I still had teachers that I liked. The glare in my glasses really annoying me. There. So I still had teachers that I remember and I even though I hated school. It's not that I hated the teachers. I hated most of the teachers, but not all the teachers. So okay, there's this one teacher that I had, and he was in my senior year, and he was my English teacher. And I really want to I don't know if I would do a video. I kind of want to do a video, but I feel like that's weird. But I want to write a letter to past teachers, and he would be one of them. And so okay, here's the story. So I was in this English class in my senior year of high school, and my school has some bad thing about it where every year around the end of May, there's some student or students who get in a car accident and they die. It's so weird because it always happens the same time of year. It's just weird. So I usually sat in the back of my class, not back, but middle back. So there was this kid who sat diagonally in front of me, and he was usually late to class. Okay, we were seniors, so sometimes we wouldn't have to be there for the first couple periods because we would have a free period. So a lot of seniors were allowed to drive and they could park on campus, but you had to have a parking pass, all this stuff. So anyways, you had to have this special senior pass thing if you want to I don't know, leave the school because other kids can't leave the school. And we had a Dunkin' Donuts and a McDonald's. You could walk there. So there's this kid, and English was second period, and I guess he had free first period, and he would always be late. And you can get in trouble for being late if you don't go to attendance and get a pass. But he was always late. He didn't care. He was just late, and not late, but within 5 minutes. But once the bell rings, you can get in trouble. But my teacher wouldn't get him in trouble. I don't know why. I guess if you're a high school teacher, especially a senior teacher, I feel senior teachers seniors just don't care anymore, I feel so I feel they're oh, what's the point of I don't know, writing them up because they don't care. What is this gonna do? I feel that was his mindset. So because some kids they just don't care and they're not gonna change even if you write them up or whatever. So it's a red spot on my shoulder. That's so weird. So anyways, he was an average teacher. He wasn't I wouldn't say he was really anybody's favorite. He wasn't even my favorite at the time. He's only become my favorite since not having him as my teacher, more as my favorite looking back on him. So at the time he was just a normal English teacher, and he was a really good teacher just to teach in that aspect. We had to read a lot of boring books. I feel so many high schoolers, they just hate Shakespeare, and it's required, and you have to read it, you have to be tested on it, and we just all hate it because nobody talks like that. We don't understand it. We don't we just don't care. So we had to do a Shakespeare book. We had to do one every single year of high school. So we had to do Macbeth for senior year. It was a different book every year, and I can't even really tell you what it was about because I don't remember. But I think it was a shortish book. so it wasn't that bad. And I hate when teachers make you read out loud, especially like from like Shakespeare books, because like some of the words you don't know how to pronounce. Like some of these words you've never even heard of before. So, anyways, he didn't make us read out loud, thank God. But he would like put on like a YouTube video recording of somebody like reading like a chapter or something, and he would just like play it and have us like follow along. Then we'd be like quizzed on it. I forgot where I was going with the whole reading thing. Oh, like he was a good teacher. So like he he tried to make us like feel comfortable, I guess, about like reading stuff we didn't care about. So he was a good teacher in that aspect, but he wasn't really a teacher that shared much of his life. The only thing I ever really remember him talking about was like I don't really even remember it that clearly. I think he had like a daughter who like got cancer or something and like died like really young. Like I don't even really remember because he like didn't talk about like his personal life really that much. So, and he was kind of like, I guess older to like older middle aged, like maybe like I don't know, 50s, like early 50s. I don't know. Like I'm bad with guessing ages. But anyways, so back to the student who would always come in late. So he sat diagonally across in front of me and he was always late. And since I was like 2 feet from him, I would always hear him talking smack about like the class and our teacher because he was just one of those students who didn't care and probably wasn't going to college. And why was he even in this class? Like, why not just drop out? Probably because he wasn't 18 yet. I'm sure he would have dropped out if he could have. So, anyways, I like he was always late, didn't care. He like, oh my gosh, it annoyed me so much because like I'm like a good student. I get anxious if I don't like get stuff done. Like, so I can't relate. But he was very annoying just because he was always late and he like I could always just hear him like saying bad things about our teacher. And like our teacher didn't do like things to be talked bad about. He was just a teacher. And this kid was just saying mean things because he didn't care and he didn't want to be here and he would probably rather be at home playing video games or whatever. So one day in May, I think it was like in the afternoon. So it was like school day, and then in the afternoon, we got like news. There's like a Facebook group for like my school district or something, and like all the news gets like posted in there for like parents and whatever. So two kids got in a car accident, and they were like in the same car. And I don't even remember the details because this is like 3 years ago, 4 years ago. But one of them like died on impact or whatever. They like hit a tree or something. I remember me and my mom like drove by like where they like hit. Like I don't even know like what happened because it was like a normal road. And I guess they just went off and hit a tree. So the first one like died on impact, I guess, or I don't remember the details really that well. But then the second one was like in critical condition. They like set up a GoFundMe for like the expenses from like the hospital or whatever, but he ended up dying too. But anyways, so it was like school day, the crash happened. And then the next day we had school. And I come to find out that one of the kids who died was like that kid who was like always late and sat diagonally from me. Like you never think when like a kid dies it's going to be like somebody that you know. Like it's just like weird. So anyways, you could just like tell like when you got to school that day things were weird because everybody knew and nobody wanted to talk about it. But like it was so the atmosphere was just really weird. Nobody wanted to say anything. Like nobody wanted to be there either. We were just like it was so weird. We were just like so quiet, so like it was just weird. So my first class was English because I had the first period off. So when I got into English, kills me. So my English teacher was crying, and like I don't know about you guys, but like to see like an old man cry is like terrible because like it's just like something that is like I don't know how to explain it. It's just horrible. Like you don't want to see like an old man crying. Like that's just like sad. I don't know. So he was crying and I was like mad because he's crying over his student who died, but the student, like, talked smack about him every day, didn't care, hated him, didn't want to be in the class. And like, I just thought that was like a crappy situation because, like, here's my teacher crying over his student dying in a car crash, and the student hated him. Like, just crappy. So, I don't know. I kind of want to write him a letter and just, like, I don't know. I didn't like, I didn't like him or dislike him being in the class. Like, he was just another teacher to me. But looking back, like, I like him more now. I feel like because I feel bad, I don't know, like, I don't know. So I feel like I want to write him a letter and just, like, I don't know, like, dish the dirt on the student that hated him. Like, not to, like, make him feel bad or anything, but just, like, I don't know, tell him that I felt so bad that, like, he was crying over the student and the student hated him and talked smack about him every day. Like, I don't think that's fair or right. I don't know. I just don't like it. So, and like, it's weird because, like, okay, you know how, like, there's teachers, like, I guess, like part of teacher training or whatever, it's like, if, like, like, you hear something, or, like, I don't know, if, like, a student, like, tells you something and it's like, if they're, like, in immediate danger or something like that, you have to, like, report it or something. I don't know. Something like that. There's some law or whatever. So anyways, we had to do these journals for, like, just, like, grade or something. Ready? This is, like, weird. Oh, they're, like, all the way at the bottom. Oh, wait. Hold on. I might be able to get them. Hold on. I got, like, a big stack of papers. Oh, wait. Hold on. Okay, that's my diploma. I don't know what that is. Okay, these are my journals from 12th grade English. Okay, so, like, this is just weird to me. And I feel like I would feel so weird as a teacher because, okay, for example, we were given, like, journal prompts, like, you know, like, if it's like, if this happened, what would you do? Like, I don't know, something like that. And usually it would relate to, like, whatever we were reading. I don't know. So anyways, I don't have, like, the questions or the prompts written down, but I can guess what they were. Like, okay, for example, first one that I wrote, I'll read it out loud to you guys, just for the heck of it. So, it says, ready, I'll show you the date, just so that I'm going to cover my name. But this was February 21st, 2017. So, it says, if I could go back and revisit any day, I would go back to the day I had a sleepover at my grandma's house with my 2 cousins. I remember we swam in the pool, went out for pizza, and couldn't sleep because some band across the street was making a ton of noise. I would go back to this day because now my grandma has Alzheimer's, which actually isn't correct. She didn't have that, but I don't think I knew the name of it when I wrote this. And there was a fight in my family, and I haven't seen my cousins in over a year. So, like, for example, like, I feel like as a teacher, like, reading something like that, that's just, like, weird. It's like the student is, like, opening up and, like, writing out their feelings or whatever, and, like, what are you supposed to do? Like, you're a teacher. Like, I don't know. It's just weird to me. Like, I feel like, especially, like, as an English teacher, because, like, that's, like, a class you would write in. Like, it must just be weird to, like, I don't know, like, read these journal entries of students who, like, might be, like, I don't know, troubled or have, like, a tough family life, or I don't know. Like, it's just weird to me. Like, I don't know. So I thought maybe it'd be interesting to write to my old English teacher. He probably wouldn't remember me. Probably not a lot of my teachers would remember me because I was just, like, that quiet, well-behaved student who, like, did her work on time and everything. So, like, average student, I guess. Not, like, one of the memorable troublemaker people, you know? So, he probably won't remember me. I would probably be like, dear da-da-da-da, my name is Kylie. I was in your second period English class in this year. Like, I would probably start off like that, like, establish, like, where he would know me from, because he's probably not just going to remember my name. You know, teachers, like, have to learn many kids' names a year. Like, so there's another teacher that I wanted to write to also. So this was my 5th grade teacher. And I know that's weird because that's like a while ago. So like, I don't know, I feel like as you get older, teachers have more of an impact on you, and they're more of like the memorable teachers. Like people always seem to talk about like their high school teachers. But I kind of want to talk to my 5th grade teacher. So we just had like one teacher for 5th grade because it was elementary school. So this teacher of mine, she's probably like, I don't know, like 50 something by now, but she still teaches. So like, I don't know. I feel like I could like easily like locate her email or something. Actually, I know I could because I've stalked her on like social media and like, I don't know. I'm weird, but I feel like everybody does that like secretly and they don't want to admit it. But anyways, so my 5th grade teacher, she was tough. And like, okay, in 3rd grade, I had this teacher and he was a guy and he just didn't really seem like he could control the class at all that well. And I remember the only field trip the school allowed us to go on was a field trip to Hannaford because they didn't trust him to keep control of our class. So comparing my 5th grade teacher to my 3rd grade teacher, like she was really tough, but like in a good way. Like she's one of those people that like if you do what you're supposed to, you're not gonna have any problems. But like if you are like a troublemaker kid, like you are going to have like the worst time of your life. And unfortunately, we had a lot of bad kids in our class, probably because they knew she was gonna keep them in line. So I had a lot of troublemaker kids in my 5th grade class. But anyways, oh hi to the people who just said hi. So anyways, when I was in 3rd grade, that was when I first started getting kidney stones. So I had them in 5th grade. And there was like this kind of like end of the year type field trip thing. It wasn't like end of the year, but it was like in the spring. And it was called like, I forget what it was called, but it was basically like this field trip where you go for like 3 days and you stay at this like, I want to call it like a campsite, but it's not like, you don't like sleep in tents. There was like, what's that movie? The twin swap movie with Lindsay Lohan, I think. And it's like they stayed like at a camp thing, but they had like a bunch of beds. So it's like a bunch of people slept in like the same cabin type thing. Like you get what I'm saying? Yeah, like it was kind of like that. So they had one and it was like bunk beds and like just a bunch of bunk beds in like this cabin thing. And they had like running water and like all that stuff. So it wasn't just like throw you out into the wilderness. Like, so they like, it was like the whole 5th grade everything. So it was like my class, and then I think there were like 4 or 5 other 5th grade classes because my school district was very big. We had a lot of kids. So there were a lot of people. So the way that they did it was like girls in this one cabin thing and then guys in like this other cabin thing. And the teachers would go too as like, I don't know, like supervisor people, what do they call that? Chaperone peoples. So basically, but they went, I don't think they would sleep in the same area. Like it was like a cabin thing and then like bathrooms connected to it, but like within the same cabin thing there was like a little hallway and then like another like sleeping area like where the teachers would sleep, I guess. I don't know. I don't really remember. This was in 5th grade. That's many years ago. So so it was like this big end of the year thing, and I didn't really want to go because I was a shy person who didn't want to like go anywhere and do anything because that's just me. But my mom like convinced me to go. She's like, your friends are going, like this is a good experience for you, like, you know, being a mom trying to get me out there in the world, you know. So I'm like okay, fine, whatever. So it's like the day before we leave and I'm in music class and we're having like these presentation things. I don't even remember what it was on. I don't really remember music class. All I remember is that we had 2 teachers. One was evil and one we learned the recorder in. So I don't know what we were doing on this particular day, but we were doing presentations for something. And I still remember we like got to rewatch the presentations back and you can see me get up and walk towards like the door. We had like what's it called? A teaching assistant. because, like, one of the kids in our class was, like, special needs, but not, like, special needs enough to, like, be in, like, the special needs class thing, I don't know. So, we had, like, a teaching assistant. So, I got up and I told the teaching assistant that I needed to go to the nurse because I had a kidney stone. So, I left. I missed my presentation. I don't know if I, like, got a bad grade for it or whatever, but I missed my presentation. And I go to the nurse, I tell the nurse, she calls my mom, I get picked up, and my mom thought I was faking because I didn't wanna go on this field trip thing. But I did have a kidney stone. So, anyways, it wasn't bad enough to go to the hospital, like, when I first started getting kidney stones, it was 3rd grade, and this was 5th grade. So this is like 2 years of experience with like managing it and stuff. So I just probably took pain medication, like I was good to go, whatever. But my mom was like all concerned. I was all concerned. I was like, what if I get one while I'm on this field trip? Because it was like an hour or two away from like home. So it's not just like, oh, your kid has a kidney stone, come pick her up. It's like you can't do that if you're like a few hours away. So anyways, my mom emails my 5th grade teacher, and she's like, hey, so Kylie has kidney stones and she's worried she's gonna get one on the field trip, and basically like explains the whole whatever to my 5th grade teacher. So they come up with this plan. I don't know why this is funny to me, but they come up with this whole plan, and it's like basically my 5th grade teacher, like she's going on the field trip, she's gonna be one of the chaperone people, and she's a girl, so she'll be in the girls' cabin, you know, so she'll just like check on me, see if I'm like okay, like whatever. I don't know, like basically be my mom for me, I guess, and just check up on me, make sure I'm okay, whatever. So like she did. I remember like she would ask me like, how are you? Do you have any kidney stones? Like, are you okay? Like, I don't know, but like I don't know. That just made me like her. Plus, I liked her because she was like so strict, but not strict like to me since I was a behaved student. Like she had this whole like system of card flipping. It's like the scary card flipping system. And basically, she had like cards with like pouches, like you know, kind of like a shoe holder, how like you hang it over the door. There's like a pouch for each like shoe, I guess, like, but it was like square pouches. And then the cards were like the size of like sticky notes, but they weren't sticky notes. They were just like colored paper. So she wrote everybody's name on like the pouches and stuff. And you would start on a green card. And if you're on a green card, like that's good. You're like green, like a traffic light, I guess. And then if you're told to flip your card, then you go to yellow, I think, and then it's like, ooh, warning, like, I don't know. And then if you flip it again, it's orange, and then you get like 10 minutes off your recess, or 20, I forget. I don't remember how long recess was. And then if you go to red, then you get like all your recess taken away. I never flipped my card. Proudest achievement from 5th grade. Never flipped my card. And like everybody else did, even if they were like a good student like me. Like even my best friend Sumaya had to flip her card. It was only like once, I think, though. But I think it was because she like forgot to like bring in a permission slip or something. Like it was like something stupid. And like she was told to flip her card, and I was like, that's like not even like it's like whatever. But like I didn't think it was fair just because like I knew Sumaya and like her mom was unreliable. So like I was like, you know what? If her mom didn't sign it, that's not Sumaya's fault. So she shouldn't be flipping her card, but whatever. But that was like my proudest achievement, never flipping my card. I was one of her favorite students because I was a good student. She probably, like, honestly, she probably let me get away with, like, I don't know, talking in class or whatever. 5th grade was the year of silly bands, if anybody remembers silly bands. So, like, that was, like, all the rage during 5th grade. We would, like, have silly bands and trade them and wear them and be obnoxious with them. And I never got in trouble for any of that, so, you know, I don't know. I think she was just, like, if you were a good student and you were doing what you like or told to do and you were just like a well-behaved student, she wouldn't bother you and she would let you get away with like, I don't know, talking to your friend or whatever. Like that's just how it was. But if you were a bad student, well, not good for you. I remember we had so many troublemakers. There's this one. So, you know how, like, sometimes in, like, elementary schools, there's, like, a carpet where you all, like, sit, like, I don't know, like, just, like, a giant carpet, and we had, like the way the room was arranged is one particular part of the year, it was, like, the carpet, and then desks, like, around here, that's, like, hard to I feel like that's hard to show, like, around this side and these 2 sides, but not on this side because there's, like, a whiteboard here. So anyways, I was sitting in, like, the first row next to this boy who was, like, a troublemaker, and, like, on this particular day, my teacher kept getting, like, phone calls, like, I don't know what was happening, maybe it was, like, a fundraiser day, and she's like, "Oh, these fundraiser things just got in, send a student to go get stuff," like, I remember one time she sent me and one of my friends to go get candles because we had, like, a candle fundraiser. So anyways, there's this kid he's sitting next to me, and every time she wasn't looking, he would get out of his desk and then go on the carpet, like, right in front of the desk and, like, roll on the carpet and be like, "Secret agent man." Like, he kept doing this, like, the whole day, and I was like, "How are you not getting caught?" Like, the things I in 5th grade. But I wanna write to her too, cause she always says, like, "Oh, I'd wanna hear from my past students," and, like, I doubt she would remember me. The only way I would think she would remember me if would be if I, like, said, "Hi, my name is Kylie, you had me in 5th grade, and this year" I don't even remember what year that was, it was a long time ago, but if I was like, "I was the girl who had kidney stones," like, probably remember me then, like, I don't know, like, literally, as soon as people hear that I have kidney stones, they're like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry." Like, it's one of those things where, like, you know, like, people who have, like, I don't know, like, cancer, for example, once people, like, find out, they're like, "Oh my god, like, I'm so sorry." Like, that's, like, how they treat me with, like, kidney stones, and, like, I mean, it's not bad, but, like, it's kind of annoying, but she wasn't like that, though, like, not that I remember, at least, but I remember my English teacher from 12th grade. Like, I was absent for like 3 days in a row because I was in the hospital because I had a kidney stone, and he took like points off your average if you were absent. Like, he was like, I don't get that. Like, how does that benefit like anybody? Like, I guess he was trying to like prevent senioritis from happening where kids just don't want to show up to school anymore. But like taking points off for being absent, like I just feel like that's not fair. But anyways, so he would always make you like show him your pass from the attendance office when you like got back because you like had to come back with like a note that said like I was absent these days because da 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 parent signature like, and you had to get like a pass from attendance and then show it to him. Otherwise, he wouldn't let you come into class. He'd be like, "Go to attendance." So I remember when I like got back, I was like absent. I think like Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And then I like went back on like Monday. So like he made me so freaking anxious. This is why I didn't like him as a teacher when I had him as a teacher. Like presently, I like him looking back on him, but not having him as a teacher presently. So anyways, he made me so anxious because he would like stand outside his classroom. Like when the like okay. Bell would ring, kids would leave, and then like it's between periods where you walk to your next class before the bell that says, "Hey, you're late." So he would stand outside his classroom and just like watch people like come in. Like I don't know, like it just made me so anxious. And then he would like stop people if they were absent and be like, "Where's your pass?" And like say good morning to you. And like I remember there's this like these jerk kids, like these boys who didn't want to be in the class. And they wouldn't say good morning and he wouldn't let them into the class until they told him good morning. Like, I don't know, it just like made me so anxious. Not that I was like not saying good morning or not having my absent pass, but like he just made me so anxious. Like I don't know, he just made me so anxious. I hated it. So since English was my first class because I had off first period, my mom would drop me off, and I would always try to get there before he could stand outside his door because he made me so anxious. Like, I just tried to get there as soon as I possibly could so he couldn't stand outside his door before I got there. So, anyways, when I got back the Monday, just my luck, he's standing outside his door, but I have my pass in my hand because I know he's going to ask for it. So I walk up, And it's like he like kind of with like the tone of voice of like, "Oh, where were you these like past few days?" Like kind of being like kind of sounding like jerky and being like, "Oh, why aren't you here? Like were you skipping?" Like he didn't like say that, but like kind of with that tone of voice like, "Oh, you weren't here. Where were you?" You know? So I like show him my pass and I was like, "I was in the hospital." Like, what do you think about that? And like immediately he was like, "Oh my gosh, what happened?" Like, and I told him like I had a kidney stone and like he like switch flipped, like he was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Are you okay? Like, I want your sympathy now." Like, I don't know. That's why I didn't like him when I had him as a teacher. I think I only like him because of the whole incident with the kid who died, and then I felt bad for him because he was crying over this kid that hated him. Like, I think that's the only reason why I like him, but he made me so freaking anxious. So, I don't know. It's just interesting to see how people treat you differently when you have something like that, I guess. Oh, here's my last teacher. So, this is a teacher I want to write to because I didn't like her. So, as some of you know, I used to be an orchestra student. And hold on, let me check my phone, make sure nothing wonky is happening. So, I used to be an orchestra student, and I used to play the violin since 5th grade until like 10th grade. So, I played for a bunch of years. I knew what I was doing. I knew how to play, I knew what I was doing, like whatever. Okay, everything's cool. So, you guys like my phone case? I love this phone case. Except my screen is like cracked. It's like not protected at all. Anyways, not my screen protector, which I have a backup, so I'm gonna fix it. Anyways, so I have this orchestra teacher. All my orchestra teachers up until this one, fine, dandy, great. Except for this one. And this is the teacher who made me decide to quit orchestra. So, great job. So anyways, I had this, well, okay. I need to start in 9th grade. Because in 9th grade, the way they did it was they had a 12th grade orchestra, an 11th grade orchestra, a 10th grade orchestra, and then upper 9th grade orchestra and a lower 9th grade orchestra. So basically, 12th, 11th, and 10th, like whatever, they don't matter. But if you had to audition to get into like the upper orchestra, and like I don't know, it was just like an advanced orchestra for kids who were like, I don't know, they like were motivated. And that was not me. Like I've always been good at music. It's just like a talent that I have. Like I'm just very musical. I've been doing it my whole life. So if I wanted to, I could have gotten into it. I just had no motivation to audition for it. So that was fine. So I was just in the lower orchestra, whatever, cool. There were other kids who were like the same as me. Like they were good at music, they were good at playing their instruments, but they didn't want to be in the upper orchestra because they didn't have the motivation for it. So fine, dandy, whatever. So I had this teacher and he was a guy, and I actually had him for 6th grade, and then they like moved him to the high school for some reason. I don't know. But like he was like our teacher, fine, whatever, cool. And then like halfway through the year, my orchestra teacher and the upper orchestra teacher, they're like, "Hey, let's do this thing where you take the cellos and the basses, and I'll take all the violins and the violas, and we'll just like swap for like a while, you know, why not?" So, just my luck, I get stuck with this other teacher. And I hated her so much. And so anyways, we had to like, okay, there was the orchestra room, which was also like the band room. That's like really big. And then there's another room like down the hall, and it was like the chorus room, I think, / like other random, like I think it was like the music theory class or something, like something weird. So we got put in the chorus room. I don't know why, because there's more violins and violas than cellos and basses. So I feel like we should have gotten the bigger room, but no. So anyways, we get stuck with this lady, and she's like, trying to treat us as if we're the upper orchestra, which we're not. We're just all the violins and violas combined. And like, I get it. Maybe she's trying to, like, I don't know, whatever. But like, it was really annoying because, you know, like those teachers who, like, if one kid does something bad, the whole class gets punished. That was like her. And like, it was really annoying. So, one thing she would do, which made me anxious, which this has another story tied to it. So basically, was that even that year? Yeah, that was that year, I'm pretty sure. So anyways, um, so basically, if you're like a music student, like not orchestra, I mean not orchestra, not chorus, because chorus, you don't have an instrument, you're using your voice. But for orchestra or band, like you can't like be doing active learning until the bell, because you need time to like pack up your instrument, pack up your music, put your instrument in your instrument locker, you know, like you can't play until the bell. Well, guess what she wanted us to do? Play until the bell. So not only were we playing in our seats until the bell, but then we had to pack up, walk back to the band orchestra room, put our lockers or put our instruments in our lockers, lock them, and then leave. And my school, you get 5 minutes between classes, but our school was huge. We had like 4,000 students. Like, it's a big school. Like, I remember like somebody said like it's bigger than one of the local colleges. Like, it's a big school, okay? So if you have one class that's at this end of the school, and you have a class at this end of the school, you need all 5 minutes. And orchestra was at this end of the school. And my next class, geometry, was at this end of the school, and it was upstairs. So, as you can imagine, keeping us in our seats until the bell, we didn't make it there. But, luckily for me, I would meet up with all my friends who were in my geometry class, because there were like, I don't know, like 7 or 8 of us who were in orchestra who then had to go to geometry. And it was like weird because like geometry was a 10th grade class, but we were in 9th grade. Like, there was like this opportunity to like skip a math class and a science class in middle school, which I did and a bunch of my friends did. We did that. So we were in a 10th grade class, but we were in 9th grade. So anyways, after orchestra, even though like my friends were all different instruments, so some of us were violins, violas, and some were cello and bass. So even though we were in like different rooms, like violins, violas, cellos, and basses, we would still meet up in the orchestra room after the bell had rung, and then all walk together as a group to geometry, because we wouldn't get there on time. So if there's a whole group of students being late, like the teacher can't get you in trouble, because obviously there's a problem, and it's not just one student who's late. Like, so we would travel together in a pack because safety in numbers, and we would just all travel up to geometry and all be late like every single day, and it wasn't our fault. And I remember my geometry teacher, he did the same thing my English teacher would do. He would stand outside the classroom and stare at us from down the hall, like, make us be so anxious. I hate when teachers do that. But he would always like stare at us and watch us as the bell rang and we were still walking to his class, and we'd be like all the way at the other end of the hall, and he'd be all the way over here, and he would see us, and the bell would ring, and we wouldn't even be close. And I remember he would ask us, he'd be like, where are you all coming from? And we'd be like, orchestra. And he was like, I guess he was like, okay, fine, like knew that was far away, but it kept happening and it kept happening. And then one day he was like, who is your teacher? And we told him who our teacher was. And he was like, I'm going to give her a call. Because he was not happy that his students were not showing up on time because of this other teacher. Which I understand completely. But nothing was resolved. And we were still always late. We never got in trouble because it's like, I don't know, a fourth of his class late together. Like, well, you can't get like 8 people in trouble if they're all coming from the same place and they're all late, like, you know? So I also hated my geometry teacher because he was really unfair. So for geometry, it was an honors class, which basically means it's like harder than like the normal level class. So what he did was basically he would like teach us in class like the lessons, whatever. We would take notes, fine. He would give us homework. It would be like the easiest problems ever. Then on the test, it would be the hardest problems ever. So obviously, we're very confused. We don't know what we're doing. And like, okay, if you have an honors class, that's like the smartest people, I guess. The kids who are like the smartest get the best grades. So that's why they're in the honors class. So typically, honors class students have like an 80 or above average. That's how you get into an honors class and stay in an honors class. Otherwise, you get dropped. So the first quarter goes by, and we all get like our report cards, and nearly all of us, like my whole friend group, we were all nearly failing. Like, I have never like nearly failed a class in my entire life, but this geometry class. And like we would all talk about like, this is so unfair, like this doesn't make sense, like we all knew it wasn't us. We all knew it was the teacher. Like we all just knew like this isn't us. We're like, what are we supposed to do? And even like my parents have always been like, oh, we want you to get like 85 and above, but they weren't like strict on it. Like if I didn't get that, they were just like, oh, try better next time. I don't know, whatever. But like they knew if I've always been good at math. I'm a math person. They knew if I was like getting a nearly failing grade in math, it was not me. So I hated high school, but the teachers were mostly good. I had good and bad teachers. It depends. Most of them were kind of neutral, but funny story. My mom used to be a lunch lady for my high school, but mostly after I was gone from high school, so mostly when I was in college. But for a short time when I was in high school. But see, my geometry teacher, and I don't think he knew she was my mom because I don't think he remembered me because it was a few years after I had been in his class. But like he like knew her because like he would get lunch a lot, and my mom was like a cashier person a lot of the time. So like he would like see her and like remember her or whatever. And like she knew I hated him so much. And I was like, you should tell him one of these days, like, oh, my daughter hated you. Like, but of course my mom's not gonna do that. But I kind of want to write him a letter too and be like, you sucked. But I don't know, whatever. That's like kind of my whole school experience in a nutshell, I guess. I mean, except for like the whole like anxiety thing, but I have videos on that. So this is kind of more just school oriented, like my teachers, like, I don't know, whatever. Teachers that I hated, teachers that I loved. So I kind of want to write to all of these teachers and either tell them how much they sucked and why I didn't like them or why I loved them. But like, okay, if I'm going to write to a teacher that I hated, which I really want to write to my old orchestra teacher because I still think of her on the daily and just think of how much I dislike her. I'm not gonna like write like a hate letter. I'm not gonna be like, dear da da da, I hated you so much because you were the worst teacher ever, blah blah blah. I'm going to try to make a constructive letter and like tell her like, you made me very anxious because you had us playing until the bell rang, so we didn't have time to pack up, and then we were all late to our next class, and then our teacher was mad at us. Like, I want to try to do it constructively. I don't want to like be a mean person, even though I do. I do want to do that, but I'm not going to do that. But I just want to like write them letters and like for the good ones, tell them like why I like them, and for my English teacher, tell him like I feel bad for him because he's crying over the student that hated him. I don't know. I've just been thinking about school a lot because like I do online college now, so it's kind of different. And you don't really get to know your teachers, except for this one teacher that I have for my speech class, and he's interesting. He's an interesting character. He looks like Santa, but like, that's cool. I don't know. It's just interesting, the difference between like a public school and like online school, I guess. But I love online school so much better. Not like school, but college. I do online college, but I definitely like the online college better than public high school. But I think that's just because I'm an anxious person. I was like mainly anxious over school, like being in the school building, which my old therapist thought was very weird and couldn't make sense out of it at all and never figured it out. But I like online college because I can do it from the safety of my own house, which makes me feel a lot calmer. But I don't know. Plus, when you're doing it online, I mean, there's like pros and cons to everything, but I've always been like self-motivated. So it's not like I procrastinate and don't get anything done because like if you do online college, it's like all self-motivated stuff. You have to teach yourself kind of like it's like kind of all on you. But I just like it because like I don't have to like wait for people to like learn it. Like if you're like in class, you move at the speed of like the slowest person kind of. So I was always like an honors student, so I've always been smart. Not to be like I'm smart, but like I've always been like a smart student, I guess. I don't know, whatever. But so I would like, okay, like here's a good example. If you're in math class and you're trying to learn a concept, you do however many problems for like example problems to learn it. If I did 1 or 2, that was good. I didn't need the 7 or 8 that we were doing. Like I was good after 1 or 2, and it was a waste of time for me to be doing these extra problems because I didn't need it. I learned it and I was fine. So I think that's why I really like online college, because once I learn it and I'm done, and that's it. I don't need to spend any more time on it. So I don't know. Those are my thoughts. I just wanted to come on here and talk about school because it's been on my mind a lot. I really want to write to my teachers because it's like the school year just kind of started. Like, for me, for college, it started 4 weeks ago, but for like the schools that my teachers are at, the school district that they were at, it like just started like a week or 2 ago. So it's like all new, and it might be nice to like have this old student write to them and be like, oh, I liked you, or not, and have me say, oh, I didn't like you. But oh, one other thing. For the teachers that I didn't like, the two, my geometry and my orchestra teacher, I'm gonna email these letters, but not like from my email. I'm gonna make a new email, and I'm gonna, for the ones I didn't like, I'm gonna be anonymous because I don't want them like, I don't know, knowing who I am. I don't know, like I just want it to be anonymous and just give them constructive criticism. But when I email them, like you can like find their emails like on like the school website or whatever. When I email them, I want to copy like the superintendent or whatever and like copy him so he can see my constructive criticism too and see what he has to say about it. So, because my superintendent, he was like on it. Like I had a really good superintendent. He was like on it all the time. And he's like, I don't know, young and motivated and like smart, and I don't know. So I feel like he might give me a response even if my teachers didn't. But yeah, and I might copy him on the emails that I write about my other teachers that I did like, because I want him to know that they're good teachers and I like them and why I like them. And maybe he can like see that I'm not just sending out these hate letters. I'm sending out nice letters too of the teachers that I did like. I don't know. Those are my thoughts. And here's like a little outlook for the people who aren't awake right now to watch this video later and see what I'm up to. That's brave. That's why I'm doing it anonymously, so they don't like know that it's like me, because I don't want them to know it's me. Even if they don't remember me, I don't want them to know my name. I don't know. So anyways, future of my channel, as I said, is going to be mostly decluttering, like just stuff like that. Like declutter December, that's obviously December. Me and my dad are decluttering our whole house because we might move in the next however many years, because who knows what we're doing. So we're basically like going through our whole house. And for you guys who know me, I have like the hoarder gene. I got it from my dad. So we have kind of like a hoarder house. Like you wouldn't know it really because like the house, like normal living spaces aren't like hoarder housey, but like there's rooms in our house that are hoarder housey. So we're just gonna like go through some stuff, and I'm gonna film it and maybe time lapse it and do some time lapses of like yard work and I don't know, stuff like that. And that's gonna be this fall, and any other random things I want to throw in here or there. Also, I got shelves. Like that's for a secret project. Um, Probably be announcing that at the end of the year, what this whole thing is about, because I don't know. I don't care if people know things about me, because I kind of just want to put myself out on the internet and like be like, this is who I am, and too bad. And you'll find out more about what that means probably at the end of the year. So yeah, I don't know. Not to be mysterious or anything, but it's not a bad thing. I promise. It's just another aspect of me that you guys don't know about. I think only like, well, my parents know about it, my grandparents know about it, Becca knows about it, Sumaya knows about it, but I think that's it. Everybody else, none of my other friends know what these shelves are for. None of my other friends know about this side of my life. So, I don't know, it's gonna be interesting. But yeah. I don't know, that's all I have to say. I should probably get to bed because I have to write a speech outline tomorrow and give a speech on Tuesday for my speech class with my professor who looks like Santa. Kind of cool, actually. He's like Southern. He's like a Southern Santa. It's like awesome. I don't know, it's cool. So, anyways, thank you all for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed just like my thoughts on my teachers. If you want to see me, I don't know, writing these letters, and maybe if I get like responses back, I'll tell you guys the responses. I probably can't tell you guys the names because I'd probably get in trouble, but I could read you the letters and just not tell you the teachers' names and see what they had to say. I think that'd be interesting, especially for the ones I didn't like. I don't even know if they'd write me back. They'd probably be embarrassed that I copied the superintendent. And like, this is like, I'm not like a student who would like make up stuff about people. Like, these are all true things, so they're gonna know they're true. They can't like get out of it or say I'm lying because it's true stuff. So I don't know. Thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed this video, leave me a big thumbs up. I can't even remember my own outro because it's 2:15 in the morning. Make sure to hit that subscribe button. When I get to 100,000, my dad said I could get a trampoline, and this was back when I was in 10th grade or something like that, and I really wanted a trampoline because I found Tanner Brungart on the internet, and I thought it was cool how he did trampoline tricks. So I made a bet with my dad and said, if I get to 100,000 subscribers, can I get a trampoline? He said yes, and he didn't even think I'd be a YouTube star, and look where I am now. Thank you very much. So anyways, hit the subscribe button to help me get a trampoline. Turn my post notifications because I don't have a posting schedule, and you'll want to know if I go live because clearly this is not on any type of a schedule. So I'll see you guys in my next video. I don't know when that'll be. I'm really busy in these next few days. Like I have to give a speech for my speech class, and I have to help my parents, mostly my dad though, take out our boat up at our cabin. So we're gonna be like traveling a bunch, taking out our boat, wrapping up our boat for the winter. Like, I don't know, just like all this like random stuff. You are a YouTube star, thank you. I hope to be a bigger one though. But I'm just very busy. Maybe I'll vlog some of it, so at least I have some content. Like I'll probably vlog or time lapse us like taking out the boat, wrapping it up for the winter, just like I don't know, something like that. Or maybe I'll just like vlog some like stuff in my life, even though it's not like a set video, it's just like a vlog. Maybe I'll do something like that. But yeah, I'll see you guys in my next video. Good night, guys.